The Mi 10 Ultra is the latest phone to join Xiaomi's Mi 10 lineup. The company unveiled the phone at a virtual event yesterday to mark its 10th anniversary. The amazing capabilities are the smartphone's one of the highlights that will join Mi 10, Mi 10 Pro and Mi 10 Lite in the company's portfolio. Mi 10 Ultra runs on MIUI 12 based on Android 10 and features a 6.67-inch Full HD Plus OLED display with 120Hz refresh rate. It is powered by octa-core Qualcomm Snapdragon 865 SoC paired with up to 16GB LPDDR5 RAM. There is also up to 512GB UFS 3.1 storage on board. We now finally have it with us, and here is its teardown. The one in my hand is the transparent version. Through the deep glass gradient, you can clearly see the internal patterns and the components. The art of mechanics and technology is well combined. Take out the card tray. The face-to-screen sign is as user-friendly as it was, and with dust-proof and waterproof rubber seal. Power off, turn over to heat up the bag. No one else this time. By heating it, the adhesives on the back cover has been melted. The back cover can be easily lifted up with the suction cap. Snap teardown card into the gap. Slide around. On top, it is a large piece of thermal film with integrated wireless charging coil. The pure black interior is very neat. And before going further, the text and patterns we see are all engraved on the back glass. Black gradient around the back cover. It is a continuation of the 9th Gen Explorer design style, which gives us more technological, futuristic kind of feeling. Now we'll have to remove the top cover. The main part is conventionally on the right. We have the battery heat dissipation foil, which has the NFC and wireless charging foils. Unbolt the screws for the wireless charging on the cover board. Remove the cover board and disconnect battery. There's another battery connector. We need to remove the camera shield. Before disconnecting it, unbolt the screw for NFC on the cover board. After disconnecting the flashlight, you can remove the camera protective shield. For each camera module, there is a cushion equipped in order to better protect the lenses. This is metal protective shield. I bet they have never weaved it. Here is a closer look at the 120x telephoto lens. To the right side of it, we have the motherboard. You will see how the motherboard got shaped due to this lens. Remove the PCB. There is no subboard. The plastic cover board is very thick. Outer edge of the main speaker is surrounded by the dustproof and waterproof rubber ring. Let's take a look at the overall step. Camera, motherboard and battery respectively. We have 3 equal parts basically. Space management is done pretty well. With the camera, there's a metal cover for fixation. That's how we can tell. Disconnect telephoto lens, portrait, wide angle and the main camera connector. Remove the rear camera module. The back is also covered with copper foil. Tear the copper foil. Unbuckle the connector. Take out the front camera. Here is its closer look. On the rear, we have 120x telephoto lens with separate OIS, 20 megapixels portrait lens with 2x optical zoom, 48 megapixels main lens with both optical and electrical image stabilization, and lastly, 20 megapixels wide-angle lens with 2.5 cm macro capability. Let's talk about the 3-stage structure design. The rear camera takes up a lot of space due to the 120x telephoto lens but looks very eye-catching. Due to this, the motherboard is shaped like the Huawei's P-shaped motherboards. You see the motherboards are getting smaller and compact because camera components are getting more popular. Everyone has felt the superiority of the camera module. This is the magic of Xiaomi. On this side, we have 2 batteries. Now disconnect the display connector, fingerprint connector and the top antennas. You can then remove the motherboard. The most obvious difference between the regular Xiaomi 10 and the Mi 10 Ultra is the double layer motherboard on Mi 10 Ultra using the welding and stacking method. The regular model, however, uses the cable connection method. And in order to hold the huge 120x zoom lens, the top design is completely different from the regular model. And they have put the original upper speakers into one single piece at the position of the air speaker. They have specially set up an independent metal shield. Of course, cushioning phone hides underneath. Next, we'll do motherboard layer separation. Set the heat gun temperature to 400 degrees. Slowly pry up the edge with razor blade. You can easily remove the upper layer. Under the microscope, we can see that the CPU is not sealed. This is Xiaomi's consistent style. What's interesting is the ROM has been sealed and the baseband on the side also had sealing treatment. Here on the motherboard we have the UFS 3.1 flash memory Snapdragon 865 processor with the LPDDR5 RAM, X555G baseband, a card slot and the Type-C port on the motherboard. Here we have the audio decoding and the PMIC high-pass chipset soldered onto the motherboard. By comparing it with my finger, you can see that the earpiece is relatively large. It supports stereo sound. X-axis linear motor fixed to the middle frame by adhesive. Use a flat blade to pry up and remove. The battery is equipped with adhesive strips. Adhesive strips for the two batteries are separated. Tear the left side and to the right side. Lift up the battery. The battery can easily be removed. The total capacity of the two batteries is 4500 mAh. This time the Ultra version uses the Butterfly series configuration's graphene-based battery. Under constant charging current, it can double the charging power. The measured battery output voltage is around 8 volts. The device can boot with just the top one plugged in, but with just the bottom one it doesn't boot. The specs of the two batteries are separated since it supports 120 watts wired fast charging. We have put the screen of the regular Xiaomi 10 model onto the Ultra model and does a boot test. We have got no problem with the display and touch, but may not support the 120Hz screen refresh rate. For display teardown, this time let's try something different. Open the freezer, put the display inside it. The temperature is set at -180 degrees. Set the timer to 3 minutes. You can see upon opening the middle frame, inner display and the outer display separated all at once. Due to the difference in sensor positioning on the motherboard, the display hole punch location has been adjusted. Between the screen and the middle frame, there is a large piece of graphite sticker. Below is the in-screen fingerprint module. After taking off the sticker, you can see the large vapor chamber plate. The material used on the heat dissipation is really sufficient. Together with the Xiaomi Mi 10 Ultra, Xiaomi also released a 55 watts wireless charging station, 100 watts car charger and a 20 watts wireless charging desk. The wireless charger, I think it's quite interesting. When you place the device on it, there will be a small green dot searching for the location of your charging coil, then start charging. When you remove the device, it will go back. The area on the disk is large. You don't need to think about where to place your device. Now let's look at the charging curve. When the 50 watts wireless charger is used, it will only take 42 minutes to charge the phone from 0 to 100%. When you use the mind-blowing 120 watts wired charger, you can charge it up in 25 minutes from 0 to 100. Now here comes the important thing, thermals of Xiaomi 10 Ultra. Copper foil covered under the screen, considerably large piece of graphite soaking plate, heat sink, thermal copper foil and thermal paste on the motherboard, and large thermal film. This is a really well thought heat dissipation mechanism, but it is still subject to our thermal testing. With the HDR on and 120Hz high refresh rate at 25 degrees room temperature using it for 30 minutes, we get 40.2 degrees on the front and 43.7 degrees on the back. On the back it is hotter. Compared to the Black Shark 3S and the Legion Phone Duo, it is surprisingly cooler than the Legion Phone on the front with a difference of 3.6 degrees, but hotter than the Black Shark 3S by 1.4 degrees. Not a big difference though. On the back, it is hotter than both the Black Shark 3S and the Legion Phone Duo. Okay, let's call it a day. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye.